All right, everybody, welcome to Muckin and Grindin. We're doing a little outside again. It's a little hot, a little humid, but it's perfect time for some playoff hockey. Love the bad hair day. Get the flow going for all you lettuce lovers out there with the hockey guys with the flow. We have Pens today at 3. Going for game 4 of the series. Hopefully come out with a 3-1 victory, 3-1 series lead coming back home. Little recap of last night's games. Unfortunately, the Bruins took a 4-1 victory over the Caps with a 3-1 series lead. It's kind of disheartening. I was hoping that series Predators took and finally got on the board in their series with a 5-4 double overtime victory. Carolina still leads that series 2-1. Game 2 of the Jets and Oilers. Jets win it in overtime 1-0, take a 2-0 series lead. Colorado leads their series 3-0 after a 5-1 victory last night. Today's tilt at 12:30, which is about 45 minutes. You got the Panthers at Lightning. Tampa Bay leads that series 2-1. 3 o'clock, we got the Pens and Islanders. 7 o'clock tonight, we got the Canadiens and Leafs. Montreal leads that series 1-0. Tonight, the Golden Knights at the Minnesota Wild at 8. And then tomorrow, we have the Hurricanes and Predators for game 4 of their series. With the Avalanche and Blues, hopefully the Avalanche will end that series and that series will be over. Bruins at Caps tomorrow, and the Oilers at the Jets. And if necessary, the Pens will play again on Monday. We're hoping not. We'll be up 3-1 by then. Right now, as the Pens look, last game was – a lot of people thought it was exciting. I don't like that after every whistle there is a skirmish after every whistle. It doesn't need to be every whistle. Only when necessary. The Pens, finally are retaliating for, getting pushed around and everything like that, which is fine. But you don't have to keep going with it. Let them take the penalty and beat them on the power play, which was one of my points for last game was to, get off the schneid with the power play being as terrible as it was. Passing, I honestly think they pass too much. Sometimes the best thing is a shot off the pads, and you get the rebound. You got to get out front. You got to get the rebounds. But getting that power play goal was huge. Make them pay. If they want to be physical and take, and do dumb shit with Morton, Cizikas, and Clutterbuck, let them do the dumb shit, and then you freaking get them on the power play. And then they'll have to stop because they're getting beat on the power play. The penalty kill for the Pens has been fantastic. It doesn't matter who seems to be killing the penalties, but we got to make sure the Pens keep themselves away from those stupid penalties, kind of like the Brian Rust penalty the other day with like under 2 minutes left to go in the game. You can't take those. Those are kind of dumb. The man, the myth, the legend, Jeff Carter has been nothing but fantastic since coming here from L.A. This seems to be like one of those pieces of like getting Trevor Daley a few years ago or for Rob Scuderi type deal where you get a player who's got so much of an upside, but the former team didn't have that upside because they were just kind of going through the motions, it seems, with that team. But it's been a great breath of fresh air. This is Jeff Carter right now has done everything that they were hoping Jordan Staal would have done back in the day and helped and stayed. But with Jordan Staal commanding too much money and wanting to be a frontline center, it just didn't work out. But Thank God it didn't, because you wouldn't have Brian Dumoulin, because the draft pick you got for that Jordan Staal trade has turned into Brian Dumoulin, and Dumoulin being one of the best defensemen in the NHL. With him getting hit the other night and bouncing off the boards and slamming his head off the boards and no penalty being called for it, or it should have at least been a 4-minute penalty, a double minor for boarding. Didn't even get a 2-minute penalty out of it. That stuff can't happen. I mean, this is exactly why you can't grow your game, because when you have penalties and stuff like that in the regular season, that would have been possibly a 5-minute, major in a game misconduct for, boarding him like that. But in the playoffs, it was non-existent. It wasn't even a 2-minute penalty. It's one of the things that turns people, like regular fans, off from the game, is when you have dumb penalties that should have been called. You're sitting there waiting for the call, and there's nothing. But in the regular season, you knew that would have been called. It's frustrating. That's why Lemieux always said it was the best sport garage league. It does. It doesn't grow your game when you see things like that happen, because it confuses you as a fan of like, say you're a new fan of the sport. You're like, well, wait a minute. I just watched this last week, and that guy got called for a penalty. This is 10 times worse, and he didn't get called for anything. So how does that work? It's confusing. It's frustrating as fans who have watched the game growing up and everything like that. You just get frustrated with it, because it should have been a penalty, but the referees are like, well, we don't want to get involved. We want to let the guys just play the game. Well, letting the guys just play the game like that, it builds. The tension builds. And then it builds again. And then you have a whole line and a penalty box at the same time, and it just looks bad. It looks bad for the sport. It looks bad for the teams. It looks bad for the NHL in general, because their referees cannot control a game. You have to stay in control of the game so players don't get hurt. That being said, the Montreal-Toronto game the other night was a scary scene. John Tavares was knocked out cold. It was unintentional. Ben Sherratt come through, hit him with a clean check. He spun around. Corey Perry just happened to be coming through. He tried to avoid contact, but John Tavares got kneed right in the side of the head. He was out cold instantly, and laid there on the ice. And then when the trainers come over to get him, he looked like a boxer who had been knocked out. He was still, incoherent, stuff like that. It was a scary scene. Corey Perry comes over, checks on him. Other players check on him. They take him off on a stretcher. Tavares gives a thumbs up on the way off the ice. The next time Corey Perry's out on the ice, Nick Foligno lines up across from him and says, "We're fighting." They throw the gloves and fight. It's not necessary. Plays like that are not necessary. Just because your guy got hit and he got taken out of the game, it was just an unintentional hit. It happens. But it's Corey Perry. Corey Perry has a reputation of being a dirty player. And I get that part of it. But when you guys are sitting there and you're looking up at the Jumbotron and you're watching that replay and you see that it was unintentional, you can't throw the gloves in that situation, because you're shorthanding your team and stuff like that. It doesn't make sense to me. But I honestly, in a way, get why he did it. Maybe it's to fire up his team, get him pumped up again, from being in shock of watching a teammate go off the ice on a stretcher. I don't know. I don't know the unwritten codes of the NHL and stuff like that. Sometimes some of them are good, some of them are not. I don't know. I don't think there's anywhere a place for it in the game anymore. And off of that, we will look at how you could think that the Pens are probably going to do something similar. You figure this offseason, they're going to lose somebody in the expansion draft, maybe a guy or two in free agency. It's possible they'll lose. They may be able to bring back McCann and Carter. Actually, I have to look to see what happens with – not sure. I don't think the cap is going up. But I need to see what Jeff Carter's salary is, so we could see if there is a possibility of him being brought back. Actually, we don't have to worry about it. He's got 2 this year and next year left on his deal at $2.63 million. that's a team friendly. You have to worry about the possibility of leaving. Well, Colton Seaver is not that big of a deal. Zach Aston Reese is a free agent. His salary is $1 million. Teddy Bluger is a free agent. He's restricted though, so he'll be back. Freddie Gaudreau is an unrestricted free agent. Hopefully, we'll be able to bring him back also. Evan Rodriguez is an unrestricted free agent. Mark Jankowski is a restricted free agent, but I don't think they'll be bringing him back. But the Jeff Carter, him fitting in with this team right off the bat, I mean, has been fantastic. It's one of the best things that they've ever done. Jared McCann actually has 2 years, this year and next year, left on his deal also, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon either. But they will have a problem with McCann, Carter, and Kapanen, and Brian Rust after next season because they're all free agents, and you don't want to lose that many guys right off the bat. So, I mean, you might want to sign one of, like, maybe Rust and McCann to 3 or 4 year extensions. Maybe Carter, give him an extra year on his deal. I could probably possibly see Jason Zucker being one of the guys who leaves via expansion draft, or Marcus Pettersson being left open. But Matheson has 2 years left on his deal. So he has a few years left on his deal. Chris Letang's a free agent after next season. Cody Cece's a free agent after this season. I'd love to see them bring him back because he's actually fit very well in the system that they have going. Mike Matheson has been a breath of fresh air. I mean, because you can honestly say that the Pens are going to lose Juuso Riikola, and Yannick Weber's not going to be back. Chad Ruhwedel's another guy who's always going to be here. You just got to figure out what you're going to do in the offseason, make the right plans. But let's get back to the game today at 3. Keys to today's game is stay out of the box. Let the Islanders do the dumb penalties. Let them do all the hitting. Let them do all that stuff. Get them caught. Go on a power play. Score your power play goals. The guys to watch, like last game, I said Cody Cece was the guy to watch. I thought he would get himself a goal just because he loves to throw it off the boards and it bounces off of guys. He came damn close, but he actually he had 2 assists, so I'll take it. Today, I would have to still say that Jeff Carter's the guy to watch. With him being on the line with McCann and Gaudreau, that line has been on fire. They are one of the best lines to watch. They do all the little things right. Brandon Tanev's another one to watch. Turbo's been zooming around everywhere, hitting everything and anything that moves. I honestly think today might be the day that Teddy Bluger gets onto the board with a dirty goal, or maybe Zach Aston Reese. But that line will score today. I have a really good feeling that the bottom 2 lines will be the ones getting the goals today. Do the Muckin and Grindin thing. But they have to stay out of the box. They have to be disciplined and controlled. Keep doing what you're doing, clogging up the neutral zone. Do everything to them that they would do to you. Get the first goal. Play smart hockey. Play defensive hockey. Get your goals when you need them. But you have to play smart. Staying out of the box is key. Their power play is not great. Their offensive talent on their team is, they're okay, but they don't have the firepower that the Pens do. But it's just one of those things we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we can get on the board first. There is a strong possibility that Sorokin may be the guy starting in net today for the Islanders. I haven't seen anything confirmed on who's going to be in net. I know Varlamov is the guy that got them there. He hasn't played bad. But everybody from NHL Network thinks that Sorokin should be the guy that goes because they said in game 1 he shut everything down. The Pens just didn't look themselves in game 1. So that could be a little deceiving on what they actually are looking at, because right now the Pens are running on all cylinders. They're playing, doing all the little things right, doing all the big things right. I just wish on some of these opportunities that they would shoot instead of passing it off to, they're coming down on a 2-on-1. Freddie Gaudreau the other day with Jeff Carter. He opted to pass, and it actually went back the other way. Sometimes you just got to take the shot, and hopefully the goalie makes the save even, or you put it in. But the goalie makes a save, and you get the whistle down in their end, which would be huge. And then you let your top line come out and get the face off and hopefully get another goal. But that being said, we'll go with, keys for me today would be the Carter Gaudreau McCann line, staying out of the box, capitalizing on power play time if you have it, getting pucks on net if Sorokin is in net, pepper them with shots. The keys for the Islanders would be to, try to keep it clean, try to skate with the Pens instead of trying to be physical, because honestly, these last two games being as physical as possible with them has not worked for you. Trying to skate with them a little bit may help your game a little bit in clogging the neutral zone. But for the Pens, they've been able to beat that neutral zone trap. It seems that maybe Todd Reardon the assistant coach, was the key to those Penguins teams being as good as they were, him figuring out how to beat that neutral zone trap that Trotz runs, because they've looked good so far. And everything being said, we're going to take off. Have a good day. Enjoy the game. It was a little different today. I was supposed to be on last night, but daughter had prom, and just time didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but I'd rather do a pregame instead. We'll see everybody back here, hopefully after a Penn Series win. I'll see you guys all next week. Take care, everybody. We'll see you.